Tonight on Realtree Global Hunting, I'm heading to mid-Wales to learn a valuable lesson about shooting with long-range expert Andrew Venables. Welcome to Realtree Global Hunting. This week, I'm on the road in the Great Wall Steed and I'm heading for mid-Wales. It's early morning and there's a heavy mist in the air as I carve my way through the Welsh countryside. Like many people, my comfort zone is shooting out to around 150 to 250 yards maximum. Myself and Steve Wild have taken plenty of deer at that range. I know I can make a good, clean kill without causing the game any unnecessary harm. However, the person I'm coming to see today is a specialist in shooting far beyond a simple 250 yards. I'm hoping that by the end of the day, I'm going to feel confident shooting at a distance beyond my comfort zone. And by the looks of it, outside and in difficult weather conditions. Now, I'm not looking to increase the distance at which I usually shoot game, but I'd like an understanding of how to manage longer distances in difficult conditions should I need to know it one day in the field. We're here today with Andrew Venables. Andrew Venables runs WS Firearms training. This is one of his shooting grounds up here in mid-Wales. As you see, it is in mid-Wales. Andrew, what are we going to be doing today?
Well, we've come to one of the areas we bring the 1-to-1 and 2-to-1 clients to, and what we're going to do is show the basic field preparation, setting a rifle up for different kinds of hunting, and you've got different kinds of rifles here. What we can expect from the scope, the ammunition, and invariably the nut behind the butt, and then how to start to stretch things out a bit. The weather's going to be variable today. If you go out pine stalking in Scotland, the weather's going to be variable. And what we find in providing these slightly wild areas, and this is one of half a dozen now that we've got going in this part of Wales, is that you can actually prepare people better away from the bench, away from the sandbags, get out and simulate the things they'll be finding in the field.
Okay, let's go do it.
Okay, let's do it. Come on. You get your kit, I'll get mine.
We get loaded up and head down to a little valley in which Andrew has several targets placed against the banks ahead of us. First, he has me firing our Rimfire magic to test my accuracy. I let off a few rounds at the various targets to get myself warmed up.
Okay, Keith, we've got the basic zero on that 2.2 rifle. It's shooting so well with that Winchester hollow point ammo. We just shot it now at 85 metres, sort of 90, 94, 95 yards. And you've shot a 1 centimetre group with 3 shots. You may have peaked early, but let's find out. So we'll start off on the figure 11, go for that centre yellow spot again. And again. Good. Okay, can you see there's a little rabbit up behind that target?
Yep.
Think about where you're going to aim to get the first shot kill on the bunny. Give it a go. It's a metal bunny. Lovely, right in the top of the chest. One more. Right next to it, look at that. What we're going to do now, just shooting at slightly longer range, you have a bit more to think about with wind, is I'm going to get you used to this idea of double tapping, about reading where the first shot goes. The first shot tells you everything you wished you'd known 2 seconds before. How often in shooting have you followed the first shot and gone, well, it's told you everything you need to know. It's a mobile meteorological testing station. Okay, Keith, when you're ready, first shot and then read for a perfect second one. Spotting. Just off the left edge. Look at that, straight in with the second shot. So eyes open, focus on the target. Now here's a real test. Just to the right of that old pallet down there, there's a rabbit. That's an honest 100-yard rabbit shot with a 2.2 Rimfire subsonic. You reckon you're up for it?
Yep.
Give it a go. Okay, I'm spotting. You shot his nuts off, mate. Finish him off. It's an act of kindness. Same place again. You don't like that rabbit, do you?
Don't make me laugh.
Viewers, I'd like to point out that no metal rabbits were hurt in the making of this movie. They're just targets today. Nice and steady, Keith. When you're ready, I'm spotting. The camera should pick up the audible clang. Oh, we need to go up about 2 inches. So 8. And we need to come left. That's 6 inches. So left.
Low.
You happy with the shot?
Yeah.
Now, let's shoot the group. Let's see what the rifle's about now. So, next round, so if you just move on to the top right-hand paper plate on the pallet. Spotting. Good, keep going. People talk about shooting foxes at night and stuff. 150 yards is a hell of a long, in fact 200 yards is a hell of a long way at night. And if anyone's using a rifle like this for foxing or any sort of night shooting, 0, just maybe an inch higher than 100, dead on at 150, 160 is fine. One more, slightly to the left of it. Yes, the full flipper. That's what makes a 243 so deadly.
Next, Andrew takes me up the hill for some serious shooting.
We're about 160 metres or 180 yards away from the boar target we looked at earlier. A lot of clients come to us with big rifles, big scopes, and the ability to put a round on a beer mat at that sort of range. Both these rifles will do it from this range. We have a couple of shots just to check we're on, and then we're going to move back up to 250, 300 yards and consider now how we start to stretch things out further. The purpose of this isn't to get people to gun stretch on unwounded animals, but it's if they're taking a shot at this sort of range and the animal's wounded, or they shoot the hind and they want to shoot the calf afterwards, but the calf's run another 100, 150 metres away, yards away, there are good humanitarian reasons for having the skill to make that shot, and that's what we're trying to produce. Clients who have got the power to tip their cap and pass a shot up if it's too far, but if it all goes wrong, more tools in the box to sort it out and be humane. If you want to take the first round and then maybe the second round, I want you to aim right in the middle of the kill zone with your first round.
Yep.
Whatever happens, reload, spot the faller shot, and if the first shot's gone a bit low, aim up a bit, go again. If it's gone a bit left, aim right a bit, go again. Just compensate for the first shot. So you've got 2 shots. Hopefully the first one will be perfect, but if it isn't, you've got a fast follow-up in mind. Nice and comfy. Breath settle down, squeeze and follow through. Great shot. Just adjust for the wind a bit. Just aim 2 inches right for the next one. Good. You can see that at this range the wind's actually blown your 243 off a good couple of inches. Yeah, it's in the kill zone, but it's not a problem. If I with this scope now demonstrate another principle, you're in the kill zone. I'm just going to come up a minute and a half. I'm going to come to the right a minute, which is a couple of inches down there, and then I'll go on with this rifle. Okay, let's see what happens. I've adjusted this one a little bit to the right. The wind, which is coming partly in our faces, has changed since. So actually, firing again. You can see that even at this sort of range, we're seeing the wind effect on the rounds.
Yeah.
When you're focusing on which animal to shoot, when you're focusing down in on how we get the, how we get the next shot down or the first shot in right, we're already having to think about wind, and it just goes to show that rangers are best off kept modest for first shots on unwounded animals. We've got the animal now way over there, 275 metres or about 300 yards away. So now we've got two issues: drop, elevation, and wind. So elevation and wind. The wind has been coming roughly 1 o'clock-ish. It's a bit changeable. It is going to push the round to the left unless it changes. Elevation wise, I've got these Zeiss binoculars here today. They're telling me two things. One, that the range is 275 metres. The second thing on the programme inside them is that we've got about an 18 to 20 centimetre bullet drop to deal with. We're going to deal with it on your rifle by aiming high.
Okay.
You know that yellow kill zone is about 10 inches high top to bottom.
Yep.
So if you aim just on the back of the pig, just inside the back of the pig, that should account for elevation.
Yep. And
Windage wise, look at a bit of grass. It's definitely going right to left.
Yep.
I suggest you aim in line with the right hand edge of the kill zone, or even a little bit to the right of it.
Yep.
So on the top of the pig's back, and keep your vertical line just outside of an inch or two to the right of the kill zone, because we want that bullet to drift back into the kill zone. Yep. Settle down, relax, give it your best shot. Lovely shot, 12 o'clock in the kill zone. Same windage, come down a couple of inches, give it another one. And that one's just come out to the right. It just goes to show it's in the kill zone, but that round's actually 5 inches right of your first one. Elevation's good for both.
Awesome.
Okay, I'll give it a go with this. If you're spotting.
Just below my last one.
Good. Firing. And again, it's interesting. The first round I aimed smack in the middle, and it's gone just on the right edge of the kill zone. The second round I aimed toward the left edge of the kill zone. The bullets landed more or less where I actually aimed it. On balance, I would say we both still killed the pig, but it's starting to be marginal, isn't it? We've really stretched it out now. The target now is 400 metres away, 440 yards. If I check it with the binoculars, you're actually looking now with the rifles at about 85 centimetres drop. Okay, to translate it into old money, you're looking at about 23, 24 inches drop. Someone will probably write in and correct me on that now, but 3/4 of a metre. Yeah. Okay. One of us is dialing, one of us is going to aim over. This is the kind of range where you've got to be using a ballistic reticule, you need to be dialing. But if you're trying to sort out a wounded animal, the idea that if you can aim 3/4 of a metre to a metre high from where you want the bullet to land and stand a chance of hitting it in the chest, if the animal's been wounded, is worth it. If it isn't wounded, don't bother, because it's probably not going to go right first time. We'll give it a go. Windage wise, yeah, you're going to need to be aiming to the right of centre of the pig.
Okay.
I would think you're going to have at least 12, 14 inches of wind here, possibly 18. It's 1:30 to 2 o'clock in direction, typical of Scotland and many hill places. It's blowing at about, again, 10 to maybe 15, 16 mph, averaging about 12. Okay?
Okay.
So for windage, about the middle of his belly, and for elevation,
yeah,
try the mil dots, or imagine about 2 foot from where you want the bullet to land, or 78 centimetres. Spotting. Did you mean to shoot it in the brain? Okay, you can see how much wind effect that's had.
Yeah.
Reload, add another foot to the left for wind. Well, you've spined it just above the kill zone. It would have dropped the animal immediately. You wouldn't have been the game dealer's best friend. Ironically, you killed it stone dead with both shots. So I'm aiming in the middle of the kill zone. All right?
Yeah.
I've got the wind dialed. I've got the elevation dialed. Firing. Bottom edge of the kill zone. Firing. Out to the right. Fascinating for the wind. So we've both been knocked about, haven't we?
Yeah.
It didn't make any difference. One was aiming off, one was dialing, and in truth the conditions at this kind of range are making it frankly not a good idea to shoot unwounded animals. Okay, here we are, 400 metres walk back down the hill. It's a long way, isn't it?
Certainly it's a long way. Yeah.
So what have we done? It's interesting. Right from the start, shooting at 200 yards, you can already see from the first rounds we took that the wind which is coming in from this side at between 1 and 2 o'clock is having an effect left and right. We're trying to hold off a little bit. Sometimes we're right. When we weren't holding off, we've had some shots in this area. One or two of the shots here when we were holding off, actually we didn't need to hold off because the wind had dropped again. It shows how complicated it is. We went back to 300. You can see that the elevation grouping right the way through these shots, even out to 300, is only about 4 or 5 inches, which is what, just a minute and a half of angle it would be expressed at. So it's well within people's normal accurate shooting abilities, but it's the wind that's messing it up. You can see the group is actually here much wider than it is high.
Yeah.
The wind's the factor that messes things up. So at 300 yards we're still in the kill zone. All the rounds are in that yellow kill zone. We haven't managed to hit the white dot, but we've killed the pig every time. Then we went back to 400 metres or 440 yards as an indication of how the wheels fall off. You had the harder job because you were aiming off. Your first shot was seriously wind affected, and because you're lucky, your brain shot it.
I was just showing off.
Now, if that ever happens anywhere, you've got to, don't smile, don't go wow, don't jump up and down, just look very carefully at the guide and said, about an inch off, but no, not bad. But we actually know
Yeah.
it's about 14, 16 inches off, wasn't it? Because we're trying for that. And I think on your first shot you were holding for wind here.
Yeah, that's right. Just
And
outside the kill zone.
Yeah, and on your second shot, then you're right back over here. To be fair, both shots dropped it. And you were holding off, doing a harder job. I actually dialed the 308. The rifle's sorted out with the ballistics, we know the ammo. There's my first shot. And the second shot, I've actually dialed the wind. I had 9.5 minutes of angle on for elevation. I had 4 minutes of angle on for wind. And it's as if for this shot, the wind had died off, and actually my wind adjustment gut shot the animal. It's hard to keep ahead of wind in situations like this unless someone's calling it behind you.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty good indication that taking shots at these extended ranges in an emergency, yes, have an idea how to do it, but stay at sensible inches when you want to kill things.
Stay somewhere that you're comfortable, you know. And
Yeah.
like you can see that there's no better way of actually getting out there and having a go at it and seeing it for real. That extra 150 yards makes such a difference. So there you go. If you want to test your kit out, and more importantly test yourself out, get yourself up here and book a day with Andrew. It's been very interesting. I thoroughly enjoyed my day. Thank you very much.
Well shot.
Thank you.
That was a deliberate headshot, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a fantastic day here at WMS Firearms Training with Andrew Venables. Even an experienced shooter like myself has learned something new. To find out more about the training offered by Andrew at WMS, visit wmsfirearmstraining.com. And don't forget to subscribe to Team Wild TV for for all of the best hunting and shooting videos on the net.